So welcome, we're back. A.G.H. Backstage. AllGrooveHouse Backstage. This is what the podcast's called now. You can't hear yourself?
There you go.
On my back?
Are you
You
back
guys can
now?
hear me. I can't hear you.
You can't hear us?
No.
Hello, 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 hello.
My headphones are cutting out. Oh, there you go. Now I can.
Is it your 99-cent
Hey, dude.
adapter?
I don't want to talk about it anymore.
So we got Silver in the mix with us now. So Silver, let me ask you this, brother.
Oh, wait, can I say this?
Go ahead.
Amazing set. Amazing energy. We got to. This is the third, maybe fourth time that this gentleman's been at the studio here, and every single time, fire. And it's like, again, everybody here has brought heat today. You added to that, and you don't do Serato at all, do you?
I just don't do so. I've been like,
You haven't done DBS?
I've done DVS. I think the last time I did DVS was maybe in 2019. but that was Scratch Live. I was doing video mixing. I did them at Roxanne's in Long Beach. I did something at Roxanne's. They said, all we have is DVS. All we have is DVS. Okay,
There you go. There you are. There you
And
are.
I said, all we have is DVS. I said, well, fuck it. We'll just go with.
So when you showed up there and they threw DBS, were you
I was ready. They told
you were
me.
ready?
I took the records. I mean, because they had some really bad, like the original Serato records.
Yeah, the first generation, the first version. That was really bad.
But then a good friend of mine, E-Ray, he said, you know what? I have a guy who does these Serato records, and he, any kind of labels, any kind of look, whatever you want,
Custom.
custom.
Wow.
So he gets a collection. So I'll say, yeah, I hooked up with him. His name is Richard, I think, at Southgate. Cool guy. So he was selling to me for $10 a pair.
Oh,
Wow.
So
Really?
he was getting them like by the truckload. When I went to his pad, he had like boxes and boxes of Scratch Live records.
Wow.
This is 2018, 2019, so I probably have like 30 pairs.
Oh, my
Really?
gosh.
So it takes a little.
Lit-
I don't even use them. I
Are they-
give them
are they
away
take-
sometimes.
are they
I think
taking-
I'm gonna donate some to here
Yeah,
because
you
I don't
could-
even.
I was like,
fucking-
hey, yeah,
I don't
we
even
could use them.
Hey, I need some color ones. You got some color ones? You got
Hey,
some?
whoa.
I think every color, like really weird ones too, like
So-
10-inch, 7-inch.
So are they upsetting you because they're taking up some real estate in your?
Because I don't use them. I don't use them. I think I'll be
30
happy or
songs.
content.
He's
with
all
them.
like, I can put like 10 more records right there. So when was the last time you bought more records? Because I mean, you got a wall full of records. When was the last time you added? It's
Do
got to
you
be
add
recent.
weekly, monthly, annually?
I try to buy records. There's so much music out there that my wife kind of gets a little bit upset, like again. But I think I took a break. It's been like 3 weeks, maybe since I stopped getting
The
something in the
children
mail.
need their
3
sandwiches.
weeks.
3 weeks.
The
Jeez.
children need to eat.
The children need to eat. It's a bet. Like I tell her, if I could spend like $200 a month, that's cool. Because I used to get like records from overseas,
Yeah, I know.
DJ
I seen you open up some of those shipments from Germany, right?
Germany,
Yeah,
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 I
I
have-
seen that.
I still buy stuff from out there, but it's just
Different account, different name.
different name. It goes shipped to my mom's house.
You know what? This is going up on YouTube, so maybe people are gonna watch this. So can you give us a little history on you, my brother? How did you start? What did you do? Where did you come from?
Where did I
How
come
did you get to be this badass DJ?
I don't know. Both of my brothers were DJs back in the early 80s. So
Are they better than you?
No. No, I don't want to be nonchalant, but they just stopped. I think their jobs, their careers kind of just took over, and I just kind of just kept on going. I never really, I think they're like 90. Well, I graduated in 93, high school. DJ'd from 87. I started in 85, 86 with my brother, hip-hop, electro, high energy.
So you were from the South Bay, though. So
I'm from the South Bay.
that what was popping on that
Yeah,
in that side of
JDC
town.
Records, fucking Music Plus, VIP Records in Long Beach. I mean, Norwalk Records when they opened up in the late 80s. That was our stuff. And then we used to go to LA.
Let me ask you
Aaron's
this,
Records,
because
too.
a little bit earlier we were talking about like the record shops. These people, these Valley guys here, unfortunately didn't have any record shops here, dude.
Wow.
Yeah, we had
Hey,
to
man,
go
we
out.
had Warehouse and Tower Records. So
We
that's
had
all we
to
needed.
go out to Hollywood.
Damn.
So what was the spot in the South Bay to get the bangers?
We would have to go to San Pedro, JDC.
Yeah.
That was definite in VIP because VIP records, since that, my brothers were in mini trucks. They were in car clubs.
Okay.
So my brothers were involved like in 85, 86, 80. No. Take it back. That era, 85, 86, was more, yeah. They were part of Le Chick Attractions up in the South Bay. High energy, freestyle, electro funk. That was it. But basically, Miami, a lot of Miami bass, electro
A
funk.
lot of
Oh,
Miami
yeah.
bass in that side of
So-
town, dude.
So we were, VIP Records really hooked us up. Like the guy DJ Slice and, God, I can't remember his name, the owner of the place.
You know, one time I got hired to do a party in Hawthorne, and it was like I came from another planet. It was like, you know, it was an older crowd, but the music that I had nothing to do with their youth.
No.
What was the music you had though?
All that East Side sound.
Like
No. That wouldn't have worked.
You just
Yeah,
said
it
no.
didn't work.
That didn't work. 'Cause
Yeah,
for us,
it was
it's-
it was crazy, right? I'm coming from, you know, I'm going to Hawthorne,
man.
and what I had nothing to do with them. Nothing.
They were like, who hired this DJ?
Yeah.
Man,
What is he doing here?
we started DJing. We started DJing like in 85, 86, and then we got to doing weddings, you know, CSUN parties. And the thing about this is that we would go to like all the different areas and actually buy records and vinyls from various different places. And so it was like an eclectic taste of music. Like, you know, Pauly was talking about earlier about him being a stoner or into heavy metal and listening to rock music and stuff like that. I started off with listening to house, like hard rock and stuff like that. And then it progressively went into like softer sounds like that. So we kind of, the Valley is an eclectic place of music. It just, there's all kinds of different things. But when you would go to Montebello, it was disco.
Right.
And only
Yeah.
disco.
Oh, yeah.
And if you would go like South Bay, it was electro funk and like real electro funk.
Right.
You get downtown LA, that was kind of like
A hybrid.
a hybrid of everything. You know, it's either electro funk, you know, Egyptian Lover,
Yeah.
or disco. So, I mean, we kind of just picked up on everything. So you guys were stuck in one genre. That's what you get for going to one place and taking one.
Well, that's
crate
what
of
I'm
records.
saying, dude. Yeah, we had
'Cause
that
you're,
East.
you're from East
I'm,
Coast.
yeah, I'm from East Los, so I grew up with just
Yeah.
that East Los sound.
That
You know
sound.
what I mean?
Oh,
So
yeah.
it was like I said, going to that side of town with my music was like, you know,
Oh, yeah.
Mars.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah.
Literally.
you know, so that's how music was back in the 80s, where each section of LA had a different sound to it. Even though we were like 10 miles away, like I never crossed downtown in the 80s. I didn't even know South Central, Torrance. You know, we were just strictly in El Sereno, East LA, Lincoln Heights, Highland Park,
Yeah.
you know, San Gabriel.
Were you guys doing like electro funk, like hip hop? What
No,
were you guys doing?
strictly disco, some freestyle. Like the disco is more freestyle. You know what I
Because you
mean?
guys weren't touching the Chicano sound.
Oh,
No,
No, the oldies.
no,
That's what it
we
was.
weren't even doing funk or any of that
Nothing.
stuff.
no Ronnie O and Joe Cooley. No.
I mean, we
NWA.
no, not so much. Not at the parties. You know, we heard about it, and
Yeah.
but because music used to travel in mixtapes, right? Back then,
Oh, yeah.
right? It was only mixtapes.
Oh yeah. Everybody.
There was no other way of listening to music. You know, so sometimes
even the mixed records.
even
Everybody
sometimes
put
a
mixed records
mixtape
out.
will make it from one side of town to the other side, and that would expose people to the sound.
Well, going in school, I mean, out here, we in the 70s and started doing the busing from South Central. So through high school, from elementary all the way through high school, we had people being bused from all the different areas, and they were always bringing like rap. I mean, like serious hardcore rap. So that's why a lot of the Valley was hip hop and rap and stuff. And then again, if you wanted to go listen to disco or anything like that, you would literally have to go to some other areas.
Right.
You know, like, but little by little, it started happening here. I mean, Jaime Delgado, who, he was one of the guys that actually brought a lot of disco to the Valley back in the days. Was he the guy that brought Johnny Chingos?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, I was his DJ, and we were speaking to Jaime earlier, and like George said, the Valley was more electro funk and freestyle. And then I crossed over to LA, started meeting DJs out there, going to parties out there, and it was disco, disco, disco. So I started picking up titles of the disco songs, going to Prime Cuts or wherever to buy those disco songs, and then playing them out here in the Valley during my sets. They were throwing tomatoes at me.
Oh, shit.
They were like, "Get this shit off right now. Who the hell is this disco bunny? Get him out of here. Go back to L.A." But now, guess what? It's like, do you have any disco? Yeah, it's,
I think house music was the main thing that actually brought in all the different communities together into one thing. Because when house came out in the 90s, I don't know if you were doing the Cabrichis and all the other stuff.
No,
trance
no, I
stuff.
never did that.
Never?
No.
Oh, man.
I was more of a new wave disco guy.
Did you have the whole Flock of Seagulls haircut?
I had my Robert Smith, all teased out and hairspray.
So then you had the, what do they call them, the Frankenstein shoes or whatever?
No, I didn't have those. No, the
The
creepers, no creepers,
creepers?
Doc Martens, that kind of stuff.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
But I think house music was like the first time that I remember back in the days when all the different communities kind of started coming together and they're like, yeah, this was the one vibe that everybody started kind of uniting under.
That's what blew it up.
Especially Ensenada. When you would go to Ensenada.
You love Ensenada stories,
Oh, man,
brother.
I do.
You just love them.
Hey, man,
You had a great
if
time.
you grew up in that era in the 90s and you guys.
I think I did Ensenada probably in the late 80s. I didn't do Ensenada in the 90s. But yeah, everybody from LA would meet up in Ensenada. you know
Billy
what I
O's, was it Bandidos, Bananas, Smitty's, Papas and Beer.
Rosarito, too.
Yeah.
Did you ever play at in Baja Wizard?
I played at Billy's.
Billy O's was great.
That would be
The day I played at Billy's, I was not even set to play there. We were just there to hang out. Jaime and Gator and everybody. Champagne was all there. Black tie, pink tie. We were all representing over there. We went to Billy's, and it was actually just the first day they opened. It was like a grand opening. It wasn't even finished yet. It was still under construction. And we showed up, and there was a DJ playing. I don't even know who it was. And Jaime went up to the DJ and said, "We're from LA. Put this DJ on. Let him play." Okay. So he let me use his vinyl, and I was just going through it and started playing some stuff. Packed floor, screaming, everything. The owner came up and he's like, "Who are you?" I told him, he's like, "I want you to be my resident DJ. I'll move you over here and rent you an apartment."
The Wizard is a natural guy. I'm telling you, the more I hear about his story, the dude is
Could you
just.
imagine if you actually would have stayed in Mexico?
Imagine.
He's the Wizard of Oz.
There you go.
Well, back,
Did you ever do residencies other than
back to Silver in the Mix.
Just at Long Beach. I think the only residency I had was the basement. That was like
only the basement?
The basement in Long Beach.
The
which is
basement
a
at
pretty
my mom's house.
which is a great story.
Okay, let's hear it.
I mean, Fenders. I don't know if you remember Fenders in Long Beach.
Yeah.
Sounds familiar.
There was a lot of mods, ska stuff going on over there,
Exactly.
dude.
Okay, Fenders was, across the street from Fenders, my buddy Johnny used to live, this is 91, 92. I want to say 90, because he moved in there because he got the boot from his house. So he said he moved to a friend's house who has a basement. Like, basement in Long Beach? No. So he said, yeah, come down. So we hanged out. There was like 4 or 5 guys in a huge basement. And I was in my head, thinking like, man.
There are no basements in LA, right?
No, not in Long Beach, no. In Signal Hill, yeah. But Long Beach, no. But then he said, let's have something now. Let's have a party. So we did a party in 92. I was in 11th grade. We had a party there. Flyer party. Passed out flyers. Did a map point. Like,
Oh, you did it 90210 style.
we did it at the Jack in the Box on 6th Street and like 6th and Atlantic. We did the
Okay.
map point there, 92. And
So
then
underground.
it was strictly
Oh,
underground.
okay, all underground.
We probably had about over 300 people there. It was just Long Beach.
So what
SoCal.
were you guys banging? What was the music?
It was mostly that night. It was like early house music, techno, obviously, because I started with techno.
Okay.
Hitting hard, and then K-Rock. A lot
So
of K-Rock. A lot of K-Rock was on there.
So
'cause
did you guys
It was
have-
that RTD stuff.
So did you guys have to drag the gear in there, or the?
Oh yeah. Luckily, my brother had stuff, and so my brothers had the equipment. So it was we had to kick him down with something. So
Okay. So
The
were there
V30
any?
the
$5.
V35s and the Ambrec, right?
yeah.
So were there any booze?
Oh yeah, obviously. There had to be booze.
Is there any Jack?
Was there any? Was there like? Was
was
it
a
like?
lot of
Was it all included booze, or was it like
No,
bar?
it was like if you want like what was it? Jungle juice.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, I
jungle
remember
juice.
So
Oh,
we
yeah.
did the jungle juice type of deal in a big old bucket or a big old igloo, mix it up with alcohol, you know, $2 or $1, balloons. It was like early like raver days, you would want to call it. But man, and then from that day, I said, man, this is the basement. So his white dude called, I forgot his name, but he just said, man, we should do something here. And he had a connection with some people at a record store up in Orange County. This guy, I think his name was Billy, he had connections with artists.
Okay.
So I'm like, shit, okay. Because he was like pushing records, you know. So this is more like hip house artists. So when we did a first event there, calling it the Basement in Long Beach, was just called the Basement. Very low turnout. It took a good couple of months before people started knowing about the Basement. It was just house music. I mean, Steve with Record Reaction, a lot of local DJs from Orange County, Long Beach, Ernie G from the South Bay, Mark V and Poogie Bear stopped there because they were my friends from that neck of the woods. But they weren't spinning hard house. They weren't even touching that shit. It was just house and techno.
Okay.
But then when we brought in Ron Decor, at least 500 fucking people. Oh my God. We were just only charging $5. We fucked up. But that's what set off the Basement.
Okay.
That's what really set it off. And then we started bringing in like artists, like 89, 90 artists, like Fast Eddie. He had people connections
Fast
with.
Eddie?
He had Fast Eddie, Gino
Wow.
Latino. He had those two artists come by, but that's like hip house,
Right,
Chicago
right.
style. But he brought them down, but they were very relevant. It was just the pass out flyer day, so we would go out to LA, pass out flyers. Everybody was passing out flyers, but we had a great turnout. So the Basement lasted till like '96. I did like 2-3 years because, I mean, after I graduated from high school, I was more focused on my career. I mean, I knew music wasn't gonna pay the bills. So
But I mean, you did get into music though, right?
I did. I mean, I did one record. I mean, I didn't really put too much attention to it. I mean, because I didn't see it as because I would see like guys like still DJing, and they were older guys. Like,
Hey.
no, like as a job.
Right.
So
Hey,
I
no.
just
I'm just kidding.
I just didn't want to be. I just.
So what was your big hit then?
Wait, I got to ask this one question.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
what is the career now for Silver in the Mix?
Oh man, right now it's totally something off the realm. I do I'm a superintendent for a construction company that remodels Targets. So basically, we oversee the.
I need a job.
It's a so we basically do all the fixtures, meaning fixtures, anything that goes against the walls, hammer, that's basically on the floor. We put all that stuff together. We build like the Ultas, the Disney sections, the CVS pharmacies, the opticals. We build them.
Oh.
He had mentioned this last time. It's a far thing. I'm a project engineer. I do all kinds of other projects, and it's just a far cry from all the different things that we do. You know what I'm saying? And while he does a complete,
No,
he's just independently wealthy.
No, I'm not.
no,
He's got a trust
I'm
fund.
independently broke.
no you sound wealthy.
But it's just, people's over here talking about being a school teacher.
Right.
Wow.
Wizard is a fashion model. He's got a career.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's just like. You're talking about it like in the 80s and the 90s, and you start thinking about it. Well, DJing is not really going to pay the bills.
No.
There's some people that still make money from DJing and everything else, and more power to them.
Right.
One of my other friends was here. Actually, I'm not going to mention his name. He made like $80,000 last year doing parties on top of his career.
That's freaking
Oh,
awesome.
yeah, that would be awesome right there,
Yeah.
brother.
I mean, you could live just off the 80 if you wanted to, bro.
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, but it's impressive
Yeah.
all the different things to do. But going back to like what you were saying, I mean, that whole era of music that you were talking about, that was like the prime era
It was beautiful.
for everything.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I had a great time.
Let's go back to your number one hit.
Oh God,
What was it?
it was. Well, people get it mixed up with Glenn Underground. He came out with the track called "I Feel Love," but we did "I Feel Dub,"
Okay.
which is just a remake of Donna Summer's "I Feel Love."
Okay.
It was just something that we were just messing around. We sampled it. I think we were using can't remember what program. God, it was just one of those rinky-dink programs back in like 95, 96.
Audacity.
It was just we were just messing around. I think we were pretty stoned.
Was it Fruity Loops?
It was Fruity Loops.
Fruity Loops,
It
right?
was Fruity
There
Loops.
you go, Fruity Loops.
It was Fruity Loops. It was a free program all over the net.
George is like, I'm still using it.
Yeah,
I
Fruity
mean,
Loops,
It
though.
was Fruity Loops. So we just did that, and I think Steve with Record Reaction, we showed him the DAT, and I said, "What do you think?" Because he had access to people, pressing records. So I said, "Man, I love the track." It was single-sided record. It was strictly, I think we had a pitch in between 3 guys. We came out with like $2,500. We pressed only 500, and I only have 1 copy, but it's such a bad. It's pretty bad.
Mhm.
But I only have 1 copy.
You kept just 1 copy for yourself?
I think I just gave them away as we went.
Okay.
But we gave them away, like we sold like to record stores and Aaron. Well,
Do you still have the master?
no, my buddy Reyes, I think he just lost it because he's moved around, bounced around with women, and he's just like all over the fucking place. He's from Pineland Park too.
Okay.
But he just lost the shit.
George is like, okay, I understand that.
It's just bouncing around, woman to woman. But yeah, it just got misplaced. I wish I would have really kept the master.
Okay.
I have a really bad.
So how many people worked on the record?
Just 3.
Just 3?
E-Ray, Rec 1, and myself, Underspin. And it's just a promo white label. They charge us $2,200 for 500 back in the days. This is 95, 96.
That was a lot of money back in the day.
Fuck yeah.
It's still money.
It was a lot of money. It was when you're just DJing, going to college, and man, what was it? I think I used the money that they would give you for school. The grants, I think they gave me like $1,300, so I used like 1,000.
So you can
for it.
eat. Don't need to eat this week.
So I used it from there, and yeah, that grant money went towards that, and I think they pitched in like 6 and 6, and that's how we got it done. I mean, it's my little grain of salt. I mean, I don't.
Oh, man, that's
it's
great,
whatever.
brother.
It's
Someone
like
have a
whatever.
record? That's awesome.
It's like whatever. I really don't. Oh God, no, I don't see it. I mean, I think of my life achievements, my kids, my wife, my goals in life, and as long as I could provide for them, I think at the end.
Yeah, but I mean, we still have to live the dream, right?
Dude, that's why I'm here. I live the dream every time I come here. I like it.
So I got married in '96,
Wow.
and my wife and I, when my wife moved in, and the whole courting thing, oh, let's go eat, babe, let's go eat. Well, now we're married. I'm not buying dinner every friggin' night. My wife, she couldn't cook at the time. She literally burned water. She just left the pan there, and what happened to the water? But the reason why I bring this up is I remember I told my wife, I said, well, you're going to need to cook something. And my wife literally walks into the kitchen for the first time, and then she's like, this isn't going to work. And I'm like, why? Because at that time, it was all my records.
Oh.
My records were literally in the kitchen, on the floor, on the crates, on the counters. My mixer and the turntables were on the counter, so there was no place to prep food. So my wife just kind of stands in the kitchen, and she says, and she's like pointing around, and she's like, this isn't going to work. And I'm like, oh, well, no worry, babe. I'll take all this stuff out of her. She goes, no, you're not DJing anymore.
Wow.
I'm just married, bro. So I'm like, okay, well, if you don't want me DJing anymore, I'm not DJing anymore. So I literally put all this stuff away. Gave the crates to my friends, and at that time there was about like 22 crates of records. So we gave him my boy Rick, actually Slick Rick.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him to him, and then he became the caretaker of the vinyl. And as other DJs in the group stopped DJing because of the same similar reasons, he just became the caretaker. He literally had this whole garage full of our crates. Well, every so often when I run into the guy, I was like, hey, man, how the records? They're good. And the one time we started inquiring about him, he said he walks in there and he had not realized that a few years back, the roof had caved in on the back portion of there. So we lost like 15 crates of records. That was painful. And the white label stuck to the record and everything else. But the point is, like, yeah, when you get married, DJing kind of stops.
Yeah,
I guess. I don't know if it stopped for you, George.
Oh, I did for a long time. Yeah, for a long time.
See, I lost my hearing in my left ear about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And I didn't listen to music for 2 years because all I hear is like wind in my left ear, constantly nonstop.
Still to this day.
To this moment. So DJing, I didn't want to listen to anything loud or any loud music, so I just literally stopped listening to music for a few years. It was maybe 4 or 5 years that I really wasn't into anything, and I just kind of geared away from it. So what winds up happening, one day when turntables are in here in my studio over here, which is now the studio, I took the turntables out, put the mixer out, and grabbed the vinyl that we have right there,
Right.
and started playing records. And then the urge to mix kicked in, and then I started mixing. And then the next thing you know, I looked up the time. I had been mixing for an hour and 45 minutes. And I turned back around to go sit down on my couch, and there are my two sons. And like, my oldest son is like, "Where did you learn to do that, Dad?" How long were you there? They told me they were there for about an hour listening to the music, and they were dancing, and I didn't even look back. I kid you not. So my friend Daniel showed up after years. He comes back up and he goes, "Hey man, you got your tables? Let's start playing some music again." So that's all this stuff stopped happening again. And then I was a network engineer for a corporation for like 15 years. And then this just started coming up. And then the reason why I was doing this is because of the camaraderie. Our brothers come back like, "Well, let me start playing again." So next thing you know, I started getting a lot of these other DJs to start coming out of retirement to play. And this is 8-9 years in the making, and now we're here doing this.
Oh yeah, you guys are blown up.
And the beauty of it is now we get to see all these other DJs. I mean, brother, you're badass when it comes to mixing vinyl. I mean, mixing, period. Yeah, you just kind of shocked. I mean, George and I are sitting here looking, and I'm like, how the hell? I mean, vinyl's unforgiving.
I think I try to tell it. I try to feed it to everybody. Just, I think when I get on the decks, and it sounds probably just the same. You guys have probably heard. I just try to make music when I'm mixing.
Avoid the train wrecks.
Yeah, besides the train wrecks, I mean, it happens. But I try to just make music, create music with 2 records. Just at the end, I mean, you have to, and that I've always had that in my head. Like, just create music with 2 records. See what comes out. Because it's always on the fly. I never, ever, like...
Yeah, I mean, you trying to do that, or you do that, with vinyl, it's so much easier to do it, with modern gear, where we can actually almost remix a track while we're mixing.
On the fly, right.
On the fly.
And you attempt to do that with vinyl. You know what I mean? So that's pretty impressive. Because, I mean, I see you ride the mix. You sit on it, and you EQ it, you do all that stuff. You know what I mean?
Dude, I call you a sniper, bro, because you nail it every single time. And vinyl is unforgiving, like George was saying. It's not that you don't have other opportunities, but the right opportunity comes by and it just kind of goes by, and then so you kind of miss that opportunity. Yeah. So now you got to think on the fly.
But let me ask you this: this is always something that I'm always curious with DJs that are vinyl guys. Why not take advantage of digital, especially you, because you kind of like you have this producer mentality to DJing, and the advantage of using digital and new equipment, new software allows you to really get super creative. So why not do that?
Embrace it.
Why not? Yeah, why not? I mean, I'm always curious about that. I mean, I can, like I said, I can mix vinyl.
And I've heard you.
I'm not a badass on the vinyl, but I enjoy the fact that with digital, I can get really deep into the mix.
Okay, you're wrong right there.
Oh, damn. Okay.
I gotta correct you.
Okay, go ahead.
What you did today was badass.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so I don't know if a lot of you guys may not know George Wild as a DJ, but his brother's badass.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the other day he was playing Sugar Wall with. What did you mix it with?
I just go track after track, bro.
He just like.
I don't practice. I don't do nothing.
I'm like, hey, why don't you play some '80s stuff? And next thing you know, he's on the radio station because he does the mixtape show on Thursdays from 5 to 8. And then, I'm sorry, 5 to 7. And then he does a takeover on Fridays from 5 to 7 as well. So he's like, what am I going to play? Or what should I play? I'm like, how the hell should I know? I mean, just play whatever you want to play. Play some 80s. And he's like, okay, here you go, 80s. I gave him a hip-hop folder the other day. Wow. Right? I mean, I can time it. He probably just finished downloading all the tracks, and then he's literally playing them like 5 minutes afterwards. So my thing is, when you're a DJ and you know how to play, there is a formula, and whether you know what the actual formula is or you know how the feel of the formula is, you know how to play. See, you know how to play. Silver, you're talking about just DJing and everything else. No, bro. George also says, just because you know how to beat match doesn't make you a DJ.
Yeah.
It does not. You, my brother, it's almost musical. You know, drop a track, and it blends so well, and they talk to each other. And that's the beauty of an actual true DJ that knows how to mix. And you guys, George, Silver, you guys do that.
You too. You don't stay. You're right there too.
I appreciate that, man. But you guys, I see you guys on a different level, and you
So,
guys are badass.
but I still didn't get my answer from you. So why not embrace?
I guess just the time. I think if I get too deep into that, I mean, right now, I think we talked about it earlier. I mean, I have 2 adult daughters. I mean, not adult, but 19 and 17. And then I have an 8-year-old that kind of consumes me
Right.
when I get home from work. And I think, and then the wife is also, you know, she's
I feel
also,
you.
yeah,
I feel
know,
you.
She's a little bit older. She gets home tired. She also works, and we have to devote the time to the little guy, and homework and soccer and all that. Like we start all over again. So if I had the time, if we only had like, well, I love my son, but if that wouldn't have happened, then I think I would have gotten into it. I would have had more time.
Okay.
I just don't have the time.
So it's not that you don't want to, or you don't
would
think,
love to.
or you don't think that's the way to go. It's just that you do not have the
I
time.
just don't have the time because work consumes me.
Well, I like that answer because I mean I don't like when DJs start looking at other DJs that are not doing it on vinyl and think, well, you know, they're not
Yeah. I mean,
DJs or they're not purists, or I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's
I mean, I know how to use DVS and CDJs and all that stuff. I've used it plenty of times. But like I said, I think you guys brought it up. When's the last time that I used it? I think it was 2019, 2020. and that's the truth. I think I did a party because I don't do too much mobile. Like if it's for family and friends, okay, let's do it. You know, I just
talked
don't
about
do
that,
it.
too.
I just don't do mobile. I mean, I'm doing for an event. I think in July, but that's for because I'm gonna love to enjoy what I'm playing that evening for my cousin's wife's 50th birthday party. So I'm gonna enjoy what I'm gonna play, and I'll take some vinyl. I'll take Serato, but I just don't have the gear. I have my turntables. I have some CDJs. I have 215s, and I have a little subwoofer. But it's just a hassle. Like I don't really want to do it. Like I think we have an event coming up, and I have to take stuff.
Yeah, no, I'm really out of the mobile DJing game. I'm kind of like I'm not feeling dragging my stuff.
I do the
around.
math. If it's the controller is like $1,500, the speakers are another $1,500 and everything else. Oh, well, we'll give you $500 to show up to do a backyard boogie. Yeah, no, thank you.
No, it's just
I'm not gonna do that.
yeah. I mean, it's just like it.
Get a
Like I don't need. At the end of the day, I don't need to do it. Rather, like I said, like most of our upcoming events, and I'm sure you guys are going to partake in this because this is.
Dude, I don't know if you guys can hear it, man, but people's killing.
Yeah, no, dude, I'm listening to it. I'm listening in the background. Yeah, for those people, we have people on the turntables right now. All vinyl, just killing it out there, man.
Doing his thing. I mean,
Yeah.
he's a legend.
This is a great day, my brother.
I got a big old smile on my face.
Yeah,
bro.
dude,
I'm
this is
actually
awesome,
tired
bro.
because
This is
and you
awesome.
have John Torres here who doesn't want to play.
yeah, Jordan. I mean, we're not good enough for John Torres to play.
John doesn't want to play. He
That's
said
it.
he
I
doesn't
mean,
play.
he just said no. And that's
Okay,
a
well,
purist right there.
before we end this interview, how many pieces of vinyls do you own?
I don't even know, man.
Approximately
I don't even know.
10,000.
No, but close to that. I don't know. I think my wife seen a bunch of records on the floor the other day. She's like, "Don't tell me you're gonna have to buy more shelves." And she just had the pissed off look, and I was just like,
Why the wives just don't get it, bro?
I tell her it's bitter. You know, like I usually get off. I go to work early, and I get off early, so I sometimes have lunch, like at my bar close to my house. There's a bar. I know everybody there. They have great food.
The
And
Regal
they have-
Beagle?
The Regal. It's called Lona's in Long Beach, but they have great food, and the drinks are like $5, $4, I think. So I have like 1 or 2 drinks, and I'm home by 5:30.
Okay.
I'm home before everybody gets home, and and I do homework, and I do Thursday soccer practice and Tuesday soccer practice. So it's just, and then I have work that I have to
Okay,
take home.
well,
but other than that,
Let me ask you this, because this is a very important question. Unfortunately, stuff happens in life.
yeah, it does.
So, is there like have you told your wife what all that stuff is worth? just in case.
Oh yeah, she does though. My oldest daughter knows. My
Had
oldest
this
daughter
conversation.
knows. She said, like, if you don't want it, Mom. I think she told her "F you" something like that, and that's when my wife got mad at her. But she knows. My oldest daughter knows.
Yeah.
I just had this conversation.
Oh, you have a good friend that knows. Hey, make sure they don't get taken advantage of with all my
Yes.
gear, right?
Yeah,
I
just
think
if
George
anything
is volunteering right now.
No. I mean, I think it's always a good plan
No,
to
no,
have
yeah.
somebody say, "Look, something goes down."
That's what Joaquin says. Do you have insurance on your stuff? I don't have nothing insured. I mean, I should.
Yeah.
It's came up. It's came up because
It's of value, though.
it's a value.
Yeah.
But you can't say you're a DJ. You have to be a record collector
Okay.
for them to kind of insure it.
So, but that's just a verbal thing.
That's just a verbal. You have to take to the insurance people and give them a estimated amount of what you think the value of the records cost. But you can't be a DJ. You have to be a collector.
All right. So I'm going to ask you a question. Hopefully, you're not getting in trouble for this question. What was the most expensive record you've ever purchased?
Oh, I could tell you right off the bat. It was, and I just, I think I purchased it in 2020. It was a new wave synth record, but in Spanish, El Tribol. A really badass fucking synth, like that, that synth wave stuff. That, man.
Where's the artist from?
Spain.
Spain. Okay. So it's a Spanish new wave
It's
song.
Spanish new wave song.
Okay.
I paid like $110. That's the most expensive record I've ever bought.
Damn.
And that's a like a single version.
It's
Single.
a 12-inch.
Wow. What year is that track
Oh
from?
man, 88.
So it's one of the early rock en español kind of.
But that's Spanish. The thing is Spanish.
Well, I
synth
mean,
wave-
when rock en español came out
Oh,
in the
yeah.
'90s, everything fell under it, right? All the cumbia house,
Right.
the rock,
Yeah.
everything
Yeah.
kind of fell under the
everything
same
got
umbrella.
remixed. Everything got remixed.
Yeah, so everything
Yeah.
was under the rock en español umbrella, right?
Yes.
But it was a really wide. It wasn't just strictly rock.
No.
It was
Rock pop in Espanol,
Yeah.
Spanish
Yeah,
pop
yeah,
remix.
yeah.
Dude, I love that '90s rock en español music because, like I always tell people, I was never a Spanish music, even though I'm Latino, and I was never a fan of Spanish music just because it was so poorly produced. It was just
Yeah.
terrible sounding.
It was.
So when rock en español came out, I was like, wow,
This-
American style of music,
Yeah.
but in
Spanish.
Spanish,
Oh, yeah.
which was amazing.
We had a great club talking about that in Long Beach called La Boom. It was called El Silencio on Tuesdays. And it was at Leonardo's in Long Beach on Tuesdays. Man, that started in 92, 93. So imagine me still doing techno and house, but my sister was into rock en español. And that took off like big time. It was at the Vault 350. Well, it used to be formerly called the Vault 350 in Long Beach, which turned into a concert venue. But before that, it was Leonardo's nightclub. Huge. It was a bank, and they turned it into a nightclub. Had a lot of great bands there. I think I seen Los Prisioneros there.
Wow, really?
I seen Los Prisioneros there. I think I seen. Who else did I seen? I seen. God, I can't think of. There's a Mexico City band. They used to go there. Las Víctimas del Doctor Severero.
Wow.
They used to they went there, and then a lot of local LA bands showed up. So
Wow. Yeah, no, like I said, I don't even know if rock en español still exists.
it's relevant. I mean, there's a lot of
It
great
is.
artists.
I'm personally, I listen to it all the time.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
it's
but
very relevant.
I'm really stuck in that '90s rock en español stuff. So I don't even know if it kept going into the 2000s. 'Cause I just never followed
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of great bands.
Would you consider Shakira the early
it. Yes,
record?
rock en
Rock en
español. Yes.
I think that's the best
Yeah?
stuff she's ever done.
Yeah.
Right.
I
The first
consider.
one.
Yeah, I consider that rock en
It
español.
was one of my favorite albums when she had come out.
Well, Silver in the Mix, thank you for this interview.
Man, thank you.
Amazing.
guys.
Thank you for coming to the show today.
I always enjoy coming out here, man, because you guys enjoy the vibe.
Yeah, man. So we're gonna go with the people next.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So let's wait until
Thank
get off
you,
the
brother.
decks.
Once
Thank
again.
you, George.
All right, guys.
Thank you, man.
All right.
Appreciate it.